If you're new to flying Southwest Airlines or haven't flown Southwest since they made all the changes, this video is going to cover the entire booking and flight process. I will be booking a real flight and then take you along the flight with me. I'll show you how to book your flight, the different ways you can check in for your flight, the types of luggage you can bring on your flight, how to check your luggage, and the new Southwest boarding process. Let's go.
Dream vacations start here.
Let's go ahead and start with the booking process. Here we are on the website for Southwest Airlines. If you are a Rapid Rewards member, you want to log in before you start booking your flights, as it will fill out all your personal information for you, saving you some time. Let's start by filling out our flight criteria. Most of you will keep it as a round-trip flight, but for me, this will be a one-way flight. If I've been searching for flights in the past, it will display any recent searches I have done. We'll just go ahead and skip this. Then for the departing city, I'm going to enter Chicago Midway, and for the arrival city, it'll be Columbus. The date will be March 29th for one passenger. If you have any promo codes, you will enter them here. And then if your dates happen to be flexible, you can click this box to search with the low fare calendar. The calendar will bring up the rest of the month of March. And if I go into April, you can see that I can save a lot more money if I travel later in the month. For me, my date is not flexible, so I'm going to keep it on March 29th. I will then click search flights, and here's all the available flights for my date of travel. Southwest will show me all the nonstop flights first. And as you can see, I have 3 nonstop options I can choose from, or I can choose any connecting flights below. But choosing a connecting flight doesn't really save me any money, so I'll choose one of the nonstop flights. I'm going to go with the 1:05 p.m. flight arriving into Columbus at 3:15. Now that I have my flight time set, I am now faced with 4 different fare types to choose from. Let's go through each of the options. The cheapest and most restrictive option is the basic fare. If you choose this option, all it guarantees you is a seat on the plane. Now, Southwest just started doing assigned seating, so you will be assigned a seat at the time of check-in, but you will have no idea where that seat will end up being. If I had to guess, if you're traveling by yourself, you'll most likely end up with a middle seat. You will also be boarding last, which means there's a good chance the overhead bin space will be full by the time you board and you'll be forced to check your bag. Another important thing to note about booking the basic fare option is that if you were to cancel your flight, you'll get a flight credit, but it'll only be good for 6 months from the time you booked your flight, not 6 months from the date of your flight. A lot of people get confused on this. It's 6 months from the time of booking. Now, if choosing your seat and ensuring there will be room to store your carry-on on the plane is important to you, then go with the choice fare. This will allow you to choose your seat at the time of booking, and if you have to cancel, you'll get a flight credit good for 12 months from the time of booking. And then you also get free same-day changes, meaning if you want to change your flight to an earlier or later flight, you could do so. You would just have to pay the difference in fare price. If you're looking for a few more perks, then going with Choice Preferred or Choice Extra might be a better option for you. The Choice Preferred option gives you a seat towards the front of the plane, but just know it's still the same seat as the 2 previous options. It just gives you a better seat location towards the front. This fare is also refundable, and you get priority lane and express lane for check-in and security and earlier boarding. The Choice Extra option is the most expensive option, but it does give you more legroom with seats at the front of the plane. You're also first aboard. You get 2 free check bags and a premium drink if your flight is over 251 miles. For this flight, since it's only an hour flight, I'm going to go with the choice option. It'll verify that I'm selecting the choice option, and then I'll click continue. I will then be presented an offer to upgrade or add a rental car. I will decline both and click continue again. Here's where I'll enter my personal information as well as my phone number to receive text messages about my flight. Once I've entered my information, I can now select my seat for the flight. With the choice option, I can only choose a standard seat unless I want to pay extra to choose either a preferred or extra legroom seat. I'm going to go ahead and select seat 21A. Once I select my seat, I will click continue, which will take me to the payment page. I will choose my payment method, enter my information as well as my billing information and my email address. Then the last thing I need to do is enter my purpose of travel and then click purchase. It will then give me a confirmation number verifying that I have completed the purchase. After I book my flight, I will receive a confirmation email from Southwest containing the details of my flight. It'll look just like this. The important thing to note is your confirmation number, which is conveniently located in the subject line of the email, as well as in the body of the email highlighted in bold green. You'll need the confirmation number later to be able to access your reservation and to be able to check in for your flight, so make sure you keep this number handy. I would recommend you write it down or forward it to another email as a backup just in case you accidentally delete this email. Let's now talk about luggage. Now, there are 3 types of luggage that you can take with you on the plane: checked luggage, carry-on luggage, and a personal item bag. Let's discuss what each of these are. Let's start with carry-on luggage. Carry-on luggage is simply luggage that you can carry on the plane with you, and you will store them in an overhead bin compartment on the airplane. You're allowed 1 carry-on luggage per passenger on the plane. Now, there is a size requirement for a carry-on, but not a weight limit. And the good news is that Southwest has one of the highest requirements for a carry-on compared to other airlines. And that is because they fly only one type of airplane, which is the Boeing 737. The size requirement for a carry-on on Southwest Airlines is 24 by 16 by 10 inches. The rule you will need to know is the 3-1-1 rule for a carry-on. The rule states that for every liquid, gel, paste, and aerosol that you plan to carry, they have to be in 3.4 ounce containers or less, and they have to all fit in 1 quart size bag, and you're limited to 1 bag per passenger. If you want to be able to carry more than the rule allows, then you have to put them in a check bag, which is the next luggage type I will cover. A check bag will be the largest bag that you can bring with you. It will be too large to fit in the overhead bins on the airplane, so they must be stored in the airplane's luggage hold area located beneath the airplane. Southwest now charges a fee to check a bag to the amount of $45 for the first bag and $55 to check a second bag. If you booked a Choice Extra fare, then you get 2 checked bags for free. The size and weight limit for a checked bag is 62 total inches, and the weight limit is 50 pounds. If you go over those limits, then you are subject to additional fees. For packing purposes, you are allowed to bring full-size bottles of shampoo and body wash and any other liquids, gels, pastes, and aerosols if you wish to pack them. One of the items that you're prohibited from packing in a checked bag are lithium batteries. Those would have to be packed in your carry-on. I'll be checking the bag for this flight so I can show you how this process works. So let's now go over the last luggage type, which is the personal item bag. This can be a purse, a backpack, a tote, a laptop bag, really any bag that is small enough to be able to fit under the airplane seat in front of you. I will be bringing this backpack with me on this flight. Like the carry-on bag, you're only allowed 1 personal item bag per passenger on the airplane. As a general guideline, the size of a personal item bag on a Southwest Airlines flight needs to be 16.5 by 13.5 by 8 inches in size or less, and the same restrictions apply to a personal item bag as they do in a carry-on bag. But just remember, you can only take 1 quart size bag of liquids with you, so either choose to pack it in your carry-on or personal item bag. Let's go ahead and move on to the next step in the process, which is how to check in for your flight. You'll be able to check in for your flight starting 24 hours before the departure time for the flight. There are several ways you can check in. Number 1, you can check in on the airline's website. Number 2, you can check in at the airport. And number 3, you can check in using the Southwest Airlines app, which in my opinion is the best way to check in. Let me walk you through each of the check-in options. Let's start with the app. The app is free to download, and the reason I like using the app is because not only can you check in easily from the app, but you will also receive important notifications about your flight, and you'll also be able to get a digital boarding pass on your phone that can be scanned to board your flight. If you're using the app, just go to My Trips and click Check-in. You might get this message letting you know that you can check your bags digitally, which means you can add and pay for your bags ahead of time and just print the bag tags when you get to the airport. I'm going to check a bag on this flight so I can show you how the process works. I will click on Add Check Bag and then scroll down a little, and I will click the blue plus button to add a bag. I will then click Review Bags and Pay. Just know that after you have confirmed and paid for your bag, you won't be able to remove it online. You'll have to see a Southwest agent to do so. Now you'll just review and pay for your bags. As you probably have seen, I went ahead and upgraded my seat to Choice Extra just so I can experience the new extra legroom seat. So because I've done that, my first 2 checked bags are free. I will now click Confirm Bags and it will give me a confirmation that I have checked bags. I will still need to stop by one of the Southwest kiosks at the airport to print my bag tag and drop off my bag at the bag drop, which I'll show you how to do later on in the video. Now that I've completed the check-in process and checked my bag, I can now access my boarding pass. Here's what it will look like. You will see my gate number is already on there, my boarding group number, and my assigned seat number. And then down below the barcode is the time boarding will begin. The nice thing about a digital boarding pass is that if the gates should change, your boarding pass will automatically update with the correct gate number. So at the time of boarding, this is what will get scanned by the gate agent, so you want to have this readily accessible when boarding begins. And then you can also add this pass to your phone's wallet if you like. Let's now cover how to check in for your Southwest flight using Southwest Airlines website. On the home page, if you scroll down a little, you'll see the button to check in. Click that button and enter your confirmation number and first and last name, and then click Check In. Here you'll just want to verify your flight information and then click the Check In button again. You will then get a confirmation that you've been checked in for the flight. When checking in on the website, you have the option to either print or text the boarding pass to you. Or you can also choose to print one off at the airport. If you have any bags that you want to check and pay for ahead of time, you can do that during this time as well, or you can choose to do this later at the airport. If you want to receive notifications about flight changes or cancellations, you can do that by clicking View or Edit Contact Info. Now that you've checked in for your flight, let's move on to the next step in the process, which is to prepare to go to the airport. The two most important things that you'll need to take with you to the airport in order to get through security and board your flight are your ID and your boarding pass. Now, the important thing to know about your ID is that it has to be Real ID compliant. Real ID is the new security standard on government-issued IDs. Most of you watching will most likely use your driver's license or state ID, and if you're taking an international flight with Southwest, then you'll need to use your passport. A passport is already Real ID compliant, but if you're going to be using your driver's license or state ID, then look for a star in the upper right or left-hand corner. If you have one, then your ID is Real ID compliant, and if not, you'll either need to update it at your local DMV or use a passport if you have one. In addition to having your ID and boarding pass ready for your flight, you might also require special assistance at the airport if you're in need of a wheelchair or have a disability. You will need to do this if you haven't already done so during the booking process. You can request assistance on the Southwest Airlines website by clicking Manage Reservations from the homepage. Here you'll enter your confirmation number and your first and last name. From here, you want to scroll down and then click the Edit Passenger Details button. And then under your name, you'll see a link for special assistance. Click on the link, and here you can request the assistance you need. Now, once you've requested assistance, you will still need to inform a Southwest agent once you arrive at the airport, either at the departures area, just outside the entrance to the airport, or at the Southwest check-in counter. If you're carrying medical equipment and are wondering how the TSA handles the security process for these items, I have a full video that covers what you need to do for the most common medical devices and for medication. I'll have that video linked in the description for you to view. Let's now go to the next section, which is arriving at the airport. A common question I get asked a lot is, how early do I need to arrive at the airport? If you're new to flying and new to the airport experience, I would recommend getting to the airport at least 2 hours early for a domestic flight and 3 hours for an international flight, especially if you're going to be checking bags. Let's now go over what to do once you arrive at the airport. First, you want to be dropped off at the departures area of the airport and look for the Southwest drop-off area. This will ensure you're being dropped off near the Southwest check-in counters. Once inside, locate the Southwest check-in area. You'll see a number of kiosks you can use, or you can also see an actual Southwest agent if you prefer. If you don't need to check a bag and have already checked in online or through the app, you can actually skip the step and go straight to the security lines. However, since I am checking a bag, I'm going to go ahead and use the kiosk to check my bag. Once at the kiosk, touch the screen to begin. You'll have 3 different choices to access your reservation. You can either scan your boarding pass, swipe the credit card you used to pay for the flight, or use your confirmation number. I'm just going to use my confirmation number and hit Next. It'll give me a reminder that I am prohibited from carrying any of these items. I will tap Acknowledge, and it will now bring up my reservation. I will now verify that my flight information looks correct. Since I already indicated on the app that I'll be checking one bag, the box to confirm bags is already marked. And then if I need to print out my boarding pass, I can do that here as well. I don't need to print out a boarding pass, so I'll click Next. It'll confirm that I'm checking one bag, and if not, I can go ahead and change the number of bags I am checking. I will tap Next again. It'll now print my bag tag and let me know which gate I need to head to. I will take my bag tag and tap Finish to exit out of my reservation. On the bag tag, just make sure your final destination is listed on the tag, and then attach the tag to your bag. And a pro tip here, since most luggage is the color black like mine, I like to add something to it so that I can easily identify my bag after the flight so that someone doesn't accidentally grab my bag, since a lot of luggage can look similar. Once the tag is attached to your bag, make sure you have your ID out and then look for signs that say bag drop, and then simply drop your luggage with the agent. They will check your ID, and then you're free to head to the security lines. If you have a connecting flight, you won't need to worry about collecting your bag at the connecting airport. Southwest will automatically transfer your bag to the next flight for you as long as the flights are on the same reservation and not booked separately. So after I have dropped off my bag, I'm going to look for signs that lead me to airport security. And in this video, I'm not going to go through the whole security process. Instead, I'm going to link to another video of mine that will walk you through the entire process in detail. So check the video description for that link and other resources. But most of you watching will go through the line listed as standard screening. The other lines are programs that you can enroll into if you want to expedite your time through security. I'll have links to those programs in the video description as well if you're interested. Once you're through security, check the app to make sure your gate hasn't changed, or there'll also be departure screens throughout the airport where you can check your flight and gate status. My gate is located at B19, so I'll head to the Beacon course and walk down until I reach gate 19. Let's now talk about the boarding process on Southwest. If you've flown them in the past, the boarding process is a little different now. Instead of A, B, and C boarding groups, they now have 8 boarding groups. Your boarding group will be displayed on your boarding pass. The first 2 boarding groups are reserved for the premium fares and high-status frequent flyer members. Boarding groups 3 through 5 cover Choice Preferred and Southwest credit card holders, and then boarding groups 6 through 8 are general boarding. Since Southwest has moved to assigned seating, there is no longer a dedicated family boarding time. As long as everyone in your family is booked on the same reservation, you will all be in the same boarding group. It is also recommended that you book at least the choice fare option for your family so you can choose your seats and ensure that your seats will be together. Otherwise, if you book a basic fare, Southwest will do their best to seat children 12 years and under next to another member in your family who is at least 13 years of age or older. Since I upgraded my seat to Choice Extra, I will be boarding in Group 1. As the boarding process begins, there will be 2 lines with digital signs near the gate to indicate which boarding group is currently boarding. You'll just get in line when your boarding group is displayed. The gate agent will also announce the boarding groups. As your group is boarding, you'll present your boarding pass to be scanned, and then you can head down the jetway and onto the plane. Once on the plane, locate your seat number and store your carry-on in the overhead bin and your personal item under the seat in front of you. Once you reach your destination and exit the plane, you will follow the signs to baggage claim. If you have the app, it'll send you a notification with the number of the baggage claim you need to go to, or sometimes the flight attendants will announce if they know. Or there will also be screens in the baggage claim area letting you know which baggage carousel your flight has been assigned to. Once the bags start coming out, locate yours, and then you're free to go. I know I just covered a lot of information, but there'll be timestamps in the video description if you need to rewatch any section, or you can just hover over the scroll bar to jump to the section you need to. I will also have a lot of helpful resources in the video description that can enhance your travel experience. And if you have any questions, be sure to post your questions down in the comment section and I'll make sure to answer them. For those of you who are new to flying and want to know how to go through the airport security process, you can watch this video next. It'll walk you through the entire process. If this video has helped you, let me know by giving the video a like. Thank you so much for watching, and I wish you safe travels on your next Southwest flight.